Hey everybody, Tim here with today's Star Wars review of Season 2, Part 3 of Rebels. Again, 5 episodes, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 11 was better than I thought it'd be. Princess on Lothal, where we see Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan make an appearance. And as soon as she started to pop up, I was like, oh, seriously, again? Like, we had R2-D2, we've had Lando. I didn't need it. And I was like, she doesn't need to be there. But she actually holds her own. It was really interesting in the whole thing where she's like, we're from Alderaan, we're here to, give the people of Lothal supplies. And, she has all these plans. You're going to steal my ship and do everything. And it doesn't work because they put gravity locks on there. So they kidnap her. And, I love the scene where the stormtroopers, it's Kanan and Ezra, and she's like, make it look good. And Zeb just bashes into him. And they're like, what was that? I made it look good. And so stuff like that. And the same thing, once we get to the end of the story, where she gives Ezra permission to shoot her. Which technically Ezra's 2 days older than her or something. But overall, it was a lot better of a story than I thought it was going to be. Episode 12, Protector of the Concord Dawn. I don't know. Nothing really stood out for me. We find out that Sabine is Clan Wren of House Vizsla, aka Pre-Vizsla from the Clone Wars from Death Watch. So stuff like that was kind of interesting, but overall the story didn't really stand out for me. So I don't know. I kind of moved on from that one. Episode 13, Legends of Lasat. That one I really liked because we find out all about the Lasats, the refugees, and Hondo makes an appearance because he's Ezra's contact, and he's like, they should be with him. And it's like, okay. And the whole thing is just about finding this new world and prophecies because of the child warrior and the fool and stuff like that. It was actually pretty interesting. I liked the whole, my people don't have a planet, and we find out that Zeb is not the last of his kind. So I'm sure we'll return to this world at some point. Which, a lot of these stories seem that way. Episode 14, The Call, I hated. I absolutely hated it. I'm sick of space whales. I don't know if you've watched any of my other reviews, Star Trek has space whales, the Clone Wars had space whales, every sci-fi show out there has space whales, and I hate space whales. I don't understand. And so that's the whole thing. We see some gold modified TIE fighters. The whole, the ending scene where the space whales eat the guy was a little more graphic than I had expected for a kid's show, but still, the whole thing, it was so long, and I didn't like it. And then finally, episode 15, Homecoming, was the big twist that, these episodes were a little, it was a little bit of a lag, but this was the big one, where we go back to Ryloth, Hera's home planet. We see Chem Syndulla again, once again, a character from the Clone Wars, so it's really interesting that Hera is his daughter. We also see Numa, who she's all grown up now. She was the little girl from the Innocence of Ryloth, the little girl that the Clone Wars protected and stuff like that, so that was kind of cool. Chem has the line of is that the same astromech from the Clone War? So Hera and Chopper have been together for 15 plus years. So that's kind of cool. When Hera starts getting emotionally overwhelmed, her French accent comes out, because any of the people from Ryloth kind of have a French accent, which is kind of funny because I currently live in the Pacific Northwest, but I primarily grew up in the southern states, and I actually have a very deep southern accent. And kind of the same thing, when I get around my family or when I get emotionally overwhelmed, that southern twang actually starts to come out. And so when Hera just starts yelling at her dad and the French comes out, I was like, I actually feel that. That's a thing. So I like that. I like the bombing TIE fighters, which we've seen before, where it's the two circles. So overall, it was kind of an interesting story. And Chem, basically kind of comes back to the good side. which they kind of have the line where, like, in Clone Wars, they were trying to get the people of Ryloth to join the Republic, and now they're trying to separate, and now they're trying to, we're on that side. We're like, oh no, we done messed up. Now we need to separate again. So it's kind of an interesting little turn, because they mention, like, why are you trying to help us separate from the group that you tried to force us to join? And I don't know, overall, like, out of the 5, this is probably my favorite story out of these 5 episodes. So overall, still loving the series. Think it's fantastic. Curious what you guys think. What do you guys think about the connection of Princess Leia coming in? What did you guys think about Pre Vizsla, his connection in Death Watch, the Lestats, the Space Whales, and then, of course, seeing an actual Clone Wars character come back and is the father of a Rebels character. Like, a lot of connections going on for Season 2. So let me know, and I'll see you guys next time for the final part of Season 2, Part 4.